The first freeze of the season is on the way. That means we have to get ready on the homestead. Typically, this means that it's time to start getting our chickens and our garden in order for the winter. Today's tasks are cleaning out the chicken coops and moving chickens into their new homes for the winter. During the winter, we often will separate our chickens into specific breeds so we don't have so many chickens in each of the coops. We have a lot of predators in our area in the winter that come foraging for food, and they often will get our chickens. So it's important to us to make sure they are safe and that they are contained and that we're doing everything that we can to keep them on our homestead and not as food for the predators. Today, we're cleaning out one of the coops and replacing all of the bedding inside the coop as well as outside on the dirt so they have nice fresh wood chips so that as it starts getting muddy and raining and snowing, we're not having this big nasty chicken garbage mess. While the chickens need a good cleaning, so does the garden. When the freeze comes, all the plants that are left in the garden will die. Now, sometimes that's okay just to leave the plants and hope for the best. But this year we're a little bit ahead of the game and we decided that we want to pull everything out of the garden and either feed it to the chickens or put it in the burn pile. These are our pepper plants. They were pretty fruitful this year, but they are very susceptible to the cold. So as soon as that first freeze comes, anything that's left on this plant will die. So we're pulling all of the little jalapenos, all the small green peppers, anything that we can, and we'll bring it into the house and preserve it for later. These tall mammoths here are our giant sunflowers. These ones in the garden were actually volunteers this year, and they worked out really nicely. You can check out our green bean video, and you can see how the green beans use these sunflowers to grow up. It worked really nicely, and next year we're actually going to kind of use the Three Sisters method and specifically plant our sunflowers for green bean trellises. The remainder of what's left in the garden really are green beans as well as our tomato plants. And we'll slowly pull those out and feed the green beans to the chickens, and the tomato plants we'll put in our burn pile. The last thing we need to do before we can have the garden all ready to mow or till for the winter is pull out our water lines. This year we put in drip tape in our garden, and it has been a lifesaver. When you have a big garden and a small fruit garden and then a giant pumpkin patch, all you do all day is water. But this drip tape really saved us, and we want to make sure that we save it for next year, so we're pulling it up. Once we get everything pulled down, we try and save what we can from the plant. So whatever fruit was produced, like I said earlier, we pulled as many of the green beans off. We pulled as many of the green peppers off. For these giant sunflowers, we actually do save the heads of these sunflowers. Sometimes they are food for the chickens. Sometimes they're really nice and we'll just put them out and let the birds eat them. And sometimes we ourselves will save seed either to plant in future years or to try making yummy sunflower seeds for treats and snacks. This year we are just saving the heads of the sunflowers for seed as well as to feed the chickens throughout the winter. It's kind of a fun snack when you're cooped up a little bit longer than typical for the chickens just because of those predators we were talking about. But we have a good sunflower harvest, so it'll be fun to add that to their diet. And like I said earlier, everything goes into our burn pile. This is our burn pile. And around Thanksgiving, it will all go up in flames. We'll try and have a video for you because that's always a super fun activity. The last thing that we need to do to get the chickens ready for winter is to move one of our 5 chicken coops. 4 of our 5 chicken coops are pretty much stationary. Each has a large run as well as an electric fence around it to allow the chickens to free range. But one of our coops is intentionally put on wheels so that we can move it around our property to allow the chickens to free range a little bit more, as well as to help clean up weeds and pests and all those kinds of things. So we designed this chicken coop to have some wheels on it. When it is in a stationary position, we take the wheels off just for the safety of the chickens as well as to preserve the integrity of the wheels. So today we are putting those wheels back on and lifting this chicken coop so that it can move to another area on the property. Finally, once the coop has moved to its new location, we can put up the portable electric fence. This is typically a 2-person job and we can do it in under about 10 minutes, but sometimes it takes us a little bit longer. Today, we're trying to make sure that it is super secure to ensure that no predators get under the fence. So we leveled out the ground and we placed the posts in and the stakes in, and then we moved our equipment so that we have a solar um, battery for this electric fence so that it can stay electrified all through the winter. It's here nice in the sunshine, and you can see right there those chickens can enjoy some green beans as well that we pulled from the garden this morning. So this is a nice spot for them. We also have an electric door on this coop that will open and close with the sun to help protect those chickens through the winter as well. And we'll leave links in the description for the fencing and the door and all of those things so you can check them out if you're looking for something for your chickens this year as well. The last thing that we need to get done today is moving those sunflowers to a nice warm, partially sunny spot that they can completely dry out. Now we have a daylight basement, so we kind of have this spot underneath our deck that is a good spot, gets a little bit of sun during the day, not too much, is away from the birds and the predators so they're not going to eat all of our seeds like squirrels, birds, any kind of gophers, those kinds of things. So we just laid some paper down on this table and we're just placing these large heads of sunflowers onto the paper and they will dry out, and in a couple weeks we can put them in a paper bag or in a bucket and shake them really good, and those seeds will pop right out so that we can save them for next year. Overall, today was a really productive day on the homestead, getting the chicken coops clean and the chickens moved, as well as cleaning up the rest of the garden before the first freeze. Everything is in place now, and when that first freeze comes, we're going to have a lot less work to do, and we won't have to stay out in the cold to do it. We hope this video inspired you to get your garden and your chicken coops cleaned up for the winter. Let us know if you have any comments or questions. Make sure to check out those links down in the description, and we'll see you next time.